in last lecture we have been explaining some of the usage of the special type called unknown. In this one we'll continue with another special type. This time we'll be working with void type. Okay, so first of all I will clean it up a little bit. We are using here cars, but I will remove the cars and we'll be using here only persons. Okay, because in the next few lectures we'll be working with the generic types and we don't need really these cars here. We will remove also human here. And we'll just leave here these persons here, as we'll be using the persons. Okay, and we'll remove the race car. And we'll remove the print info. We don't really need it. And print for here. And log person info. Oh yeah, this function as well. We don't need them. Just taking the space here. You can anyway still find it in my GitHub repository. All right, so this person as well. Okay, so now the void type. When you are creating function, guys, any function, so let's say hello function. This function has a by default return type of the void. This means it doesn't return anything. So I'll hover over say hello. You can see it's a void. This means this function doesn't return anything. And when I will write here return string, automatically this function will be returning string. Here is a return type of this function. It's returning string. But I will define here explicitly, this function should return a void, so it shouldn't return anything. I get here a warning. The type string is not assignable to type void because, of course, I cannot return a string when I'm specifying that I don't want to return here anything. Okay, so that's the void type. Okay, so let's see some example how we can use it. All right, I will remove this, and I will define here two types for a functions. Okay, I will define here two function types. So let's write here type. First type, I will call this type a no op for a no operation. Okay, it will be just simply type of the empty function that returns any. Okay, and I will write here type of the no operation. Doesn't really matter how you call this. I will call it no operation function. This will return void. Okay, and you should always prefer to provide a void instead of any, because any can, again, very dangerous. It can return anything. Okay, so we have a no op and no op2, one returning any, other one returning void. Now I will define two functions. Okay, let's say this will be function 1. I will define here function 2. And they can be specified as a void, doesn't really matter. And to this function, I will expect to receive here to the argument another function. Let's say it's function x, all right, or no op function. Doesn't really matter again. It's just a naming. So parameter x will be type of no op. In the function 2, I'll specify here x, and the type of this will be no op2. Since the types of this should be no op2. Since the type of this x here is a no op, which is a function, we should be able to call x because it's a function that so now it's executable, it's callable. So I can call here without any problem x. I can call here and I can call x and I can call also x here. There is no big deal. We can call it because it's function. Since no op is returning any type, I can write here, let's say const result, and I can assign here result of the x, which will be any, all right? Because the x is a no op type, and no op type is a function that returns any. The same I can do with this one here. Call here x, but this type, in this case, the result is void. Okay, and then again, very interesting part. You will come here. If I will try to do something with the result now, since it's any, I can do so. So I can get here simply result, and I can call it again. I can call it. There is no big issue in that. But when I will try to repeat the same with a no op2, I will get here error. Okay, so since x returning any type, the result can be basically anything, and I can do anything I want with it. The Typescript will be not complaining about it. But since the x here in the function 2 is returning void, result is void, and this means there is no value associated with this. So I shouldn't be able to call this, okay, because this expression is not callable. The type void has no call signatures. Okay, again, it's preferable to use void here in such a cases. All right, guys, and I need to tell you that when we'll be working on our practical project and we'll be creating new features, sometimes I will be using any types because sometimes it's useful, especially when you are working on the lectures. But as I will be creating these any types, I will be later replacing them by actually specific types. I'll be using any types if I want to show you some feature, but I don't want to specify just the type yet, but I will specify this type eventually. So if you're wondering in the lectures why I'm using any types, it's just for explanation purposes, but we'll be replacing these any types with some specific types. So guys, that should be this from the void types. In the next lecture, we'll start something new. Well, again, with the TypeScript. There's a few last lectures. I will want to explain you generic types. It's a little bit more complicated concept when you're working with the types. You're working with the generics, but I'm pretty sure you will manage to understand it. Okay, so let's see you in the next lecture. Cheers.